What's up, everybody? My name is Godzi, and welcome back to another episode of Wonderful Everyday Down the Rabbit Hole. Last episode, Yuki met, Hasaki and Kimika, and Senagawa died. So, that's great. Other than that, there's not a lot that I can really think of that happened, other than, of course, more weirdness with Takuji and crap like that, so, yeah. Guess there's not much else that needs to be said, so let's just continue. It's so quiet. Though that was to be expected, since school was closed. And of course, it wasn't like a series of people dying one after the other was an everyday occurrence. Good morning. Yeah, you. I'm concerned about you. I'm very concerned about you, because frickin', Kimika mentioned something about her referring somebody or something. I don't remember exactly, but still. Huh? What's wrong? Huh? I'm sorry. Could I ask your name? Huh? My name? If you don't mind. I'm Minakami Yuki. I see. That makes sense. That's right. You're not even wearing a white coat. Huh? A white coat? Oh, nothing. You don't need to worry about it. What's up with her? So why are you here? Huh? What are you talking about? You guys are the ones who told me to come in and get counseling. Huh? Counseling? Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. That's weird. Very weird. I had to wonder what was going on. She was clearly acting strange. Oh, yes. It looks like the counselor will be coming soon. I don't really need counseling, though. But after what happened, you don't have to worry about me. I'm feeling great. That's not true. You saw a teacher fall to her death with your own eyes. There's a chance you're suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. That's what the other teachers said. Post-traumatic stress disorder? I don't think you need to worry about it when I'm telling you I'm fine. Don't say that. We have to do it for our sake as well. But there's no need. Though the counselor is late, isn't he? Looks like it. I'd like to ask you something if you don't mind. What is it? It's kind of hard to ask, but... Is it about Mrs. Senagawa? Yes. This was supposed to be counseling, and yet she was asking me about that. Though she probably just wanted to know. They were colleagues at work, too. I don't really know anything. She wasn't in a condition to talk. Her lungs were probably ruptured. Oh. So why did Mrs. Senagawa commit suicide? I really don't think she did, honestly. She might have, I mean, I guess, but still. I do actually have something that I want to bring up regarding Takuji's prophecy or whatnot, mentioning how another person will die and a large amount of people will see the death, and the dead will speak of the ultimate demise, or something like that. And as far as I can tell, the only people who saw Senagawa die were Yuki and probably Kimika. So, yeah. And all Senagawa said was she was just muttering Takuji's name, so, yeah. I don't know. So, I don't think that really fits in with what Takuji was saying with his prophecy. So it might instead be that this is a completely unrelated death. Maybe it was something that he wasn't planning on. Because right now, I think the most likely explanation for everything that's going on is Takuji is killing these people. He killed Shirayama, Zakuro, and the two girls she was with, and Senagawa. So, yeah. So why did Mrs. Senagawa commit suicide? We're not certain that her death was a suicide. I actually haven't heard what happened after all that. After? The ambulance came, then the cops. It was a mess. What happened to her? Oh, right. She was taken to the hospital, and then she stopped breathing. I see. Well, that made sense. But she wasn't telling me what was really important. Was Mrs. Senagawa's death an accident or suicide? Right now, we're not sure. but we've confirmed that she went up to the roof of Building C alone. Alone? We also have testimony that she fell by herself, and they said it looked more like an accident than a suicide. It looked like an accident? It looked like she climbed up the fence herself and was trying to do something, though we don't know what that might have been. They say she didn't climb up the fence and jump off, but rather fell off while trying to do something up there. What the fuck would that be? Oh, there were witnesses? There were several eyewitnesses. Not just students, but also people from the surrounding neighborhood who saw her. So it wasn't murder? Probably. Probably? Oh, it probably isn't directly related, but a suspicious person was spotted in the school at the time of the accident. A suspicious person? Apparently that person wasn't a student. They had a large camera, and we're still not sure what their intentions were. Did Kimika have a camera? I can't even remember. I don't think she did. The suspicious person holding a camera. That wasn't just suspicious. It sounded like the media was already monitoring the situation. Okay, I guess she didn't. She had something other than a knife. I think. Did she? I don't remember. After so many people had died in a row, it wasn't surprising at all. Did Mrs. Senagawa have any particular problems lately? I haven't heard anything like that. She was a homeroom teacher of Takashima's class, so maybe... If one of her students committed suicide, there might have been people who said it was her fault. Why would they? Her death was certainly regrettable, but it wasn't Yui's fault. Why did she call her Yui all of a sudden? They were friends. Actually, Miss Kiyokawa and Mrs. Senagawa were pretty close, weren't they? The two of them didn't have any other colleagues close to their age. But she didn't seem terribly sad, all things considered. Rather than sad, she seemed scared. Even if she wasn't at fault, it was probably enough to make her worry, wasn't it? Well, maybe so. But that had nothing to do with her death. How can you be so sure? Because... Anyway, they determined she wasn't at fault at all. They did, or rather, there was no doubt to begin with. The doctors and police say that Takashima's suicide happened because of a neurotic breakdown. I see, so it happened because of her mental illness, and the cause wasn't bullying or any external factor like that. There was no bullying. We don't have any bullying here. Or at least, we haven't been able to determine if there is any occurring. But isn't there some occurring? Oh no, it's not like I'm saying there was any bullying involved. Oh, I see. She reacted pretty strongly there. It felt like she was already making excuses to the media. The teachers were all on edge too, I guess. When it came to them, they couldn't let people think that Takashima's suicide was caused by bullying, and Senagawa Yui's death was caused by her feeling of guilt. The police and the attending doctor both said that Takashima jumped because of her neurosis, and Mrs. Senagawa's death was a completely unrelated accident. That's the version of events they wanted to show to the public, but that was probably impossible. Last week, Shiroyama Tsubasa fell to his death. Then the following Sunday, Takashima Zakuro committed suicide in Suginomiya. And now Senagawa Yui had fallen from the roof by accident and died. The most convenient explanation for the school was to claim the incidents were all unrelated. The school was already being talked about on the internet, and the media had probably contacted them too. The school was probably closed today because the phones were all ringing off their hooks in the staff room. They were probably getting calls from anonymous people on the internet who found out about the school. This was about the time the media would get involved. Reporters always pay attention to what happens on the internet. And someone with a camera was actually spotted. If the mass media was already getting involved, the school's convenient interpretation of events could be overturned soon. What really bugged me was Mrs. Senagawa's death. No kidding. The eyewitnesses claimed that it was closer to an accident than a suicide. Mrs. Senagawa was Takashima's homeroom teacher. Takashima was definitely being bullied. The real question is whether Mrs. Senagawa actually knew that Takashima Zakuro was being bullied. If she knew about it, the likelihood that she committed suicide out of guilt was much higher. If she didn't know, it would match up with the testimony, which would mean it was just an accident. Excuse me, Minakami. Yes? I'd like to ask you something as well. Have you heard rumors of bullying? Even if it wasn't related to Takashima, have you heard any rumors about the school? I really don't keep up with that stuff. I can't really say, but if you'd like to find out, why don't you try looking at the underground message board? The underground message board? What's that? She was so bad at acting, it was obvious that she knew about it. Do we have one of those? Who knows? I've only heard rumors, but they say there is one. Right, according to the rumors. She knew about it, so she knew the truth about Takashima Zakuro's bullying. She knew, but she was pretending like she didn't. So, if she knew, you could assume there was a pretty good chance her colleague, Mrs. Senagawa, also knew. In other words, I couldn't eliminate the possibility that Mrs. Senagawa's death was a suicide rather than an accident. At the moment, the cause of Mrs. Senagawa's fall hasn't been determined, but from what I've heard from the police, they're only trying to determine whether it was a suicide or an accident. Building C's roof isn't open to the students. Several other teachers saw her borrow the key from the janitor right before she fell. I see. All the evidence points to it being an accident, then. That's right. According to her, the school officials didn't believe it was related to Mamiya Takuji in any way, so the police hadn't heard anything about him either. He might not have been directly related, but I couldn't be sure he wasn't involved. The school would probably prefer that the police knew as little as possible. Now that I think about it, have the students who disappeared shown up again? The students who disappeared? Oh, I might have heard about something like that. What was going on there? Right, most of them were staying home or loitering downtown. But aren't there still missing people? Oh, yes. Couldn't she give a better answer than that? Oh, an announcement. Okay. I thought this was going to be one of those situations because I was told that there's going to be more spoken lines that don't have text associated with them throughout the game. So, okay. Miss Kiyokawa, if you are in the building, please come to the staff room immediately. There's a phone call from Mr. Katagai, the counselor. From the counselor? Maybe he's calling ahead because he's going to be late. Please wait a moment. I'll go to the staff room. Okay. The call was probably just about the reason why he was late. Though I really didn't want to receive any counseling. Aside from that, Miss Kiyokawa knew about the underground message board. She must have been getting the curse mail too. But she was still acting like she didn't know about it. Actually, back then. Oh, I see. So she's been registered since way back then. I see. Miss Kiyokawa referred her. Wow, she has a lot of emails. Yeah, that's what I was confused about. Huh? She was registered? A lot of emails? By registered, she must have been talking about the message board. Oh. So Miss Kiyokawa referred somebody onto the board. I see. And a lot of emails was referring to the curse mail, which meant Mrs. Senagawa browsed the underground message board, and she was getting the curse mail. And she said Mrs. Senagawa was referred by Miss Kiyokawa. I see. Okay. So Miss Kiyokawa had been browsing it too, and she had definitely been getting the mail. So then, could I trust her? The underground message board had been turning them all into fanatics. I couldn't say for certain that she hadn't gotten sucked up into all that as well. Especially since Mrs. Senagawa was her only real friend. She was the one who referred her to the underground message board. Was Miss Kiyokawa still stable after having someone like that die? Normally, you'd expect her to take a leave of absence to grieve. Despite that, she was... I thought she seemed scared of something, but she didn't really seem sad about the death. She left her bag and some of her papers on the desk where she was sitting. I casually looked at her bag. It was rather small. It was more of a pouch than a bag. Huh? There was a cell phone strap protruding from the bag. I think I've seen that strap somewhere before. I opened the fastener on her pouch. This is Mrs. Senagawa's cell phone. Ah. It was a phone that I picked up, which Tachibana had taken from me. Oh, okay, yeah. Why was it in Miss Kiyokawa's bag? Isn't that bizarre? Oh, wow. The song's getting freaky. Even if she found it after Tachibana dropped it, this wasn't the kind of thing someone would just hold on to and not say anything about. Common sense says she should have handed it over to the police or maybe Mrs. Senagawa's relatives. Why didn't Miss Kiyokawa have the cell phone? This is just weird. Miss Kiyokawa. Okay, where are we going? Outside the school? We're just running away? I guess so. I took her cell phone. But it's not like I can let them hold on to it. I wasn't sure what to do. It might have been better to hand it over to the police. That would have been the easiest thing to do. But my subconscious wouldn't let me do that. My heart was telling me that I couldn't just leave solving this mystery up to someone else. Why do I feel like this? I was totally unrelated to the incident. I didn't really know Takashima Zakuro very well, and I'd only met Mamiya Takuji a few times before. Mrs. Senagawa and Shiroyama Tsubasa before her too. They had nothing to do with me. But still, my heart was saying something to me. I have to stop this. Why? Why did I feel like this? I couldn't understand. Why did I feel the need to get involved? For the moment, I opened up Mrs. Senagawa's phone and checked. It really is. All the emails were deleted. Is there not a pin code? Is this before pin codes were commonplace? That wasn't surprising. If someone found it, the police would definitely get involved. At this point, the police didn't consider the deaths to be related. They thought the two deaths were completely separate. They hadn't even considered there might have been a third party orchestrating it. Maybe it was Tachibana, or it might have been Miss Kiyokawa. Either way, someone had definitely deleted them all. Since she hadn't handed this over to the police as evidence, there was a high chance that Miss Kiyokawa was an accomplice. I figured as much. What's going on? Since it's this model, if I do this, I might have gotten a bit lucky. It's almost impossible for an amateur to copy messages from a cell phone. Of course, logically it is possible, but as far as I knew, there's no software to copy messages from a cell phone. Well, cell phones were developed by lots of different companies, whereas email on a computer is mostly all the same. But this particular brand of cell phone stored the messages on the server for 30 days after they'd been deleted. Oh, cool. So I could retrieve the messages that had been deleted. They were deleted just yesterday, so I should be able to retrieve all the important messages. I turned on my computer and connected to the underground message board. There was a list of the different messages from Takashima around here. There was a thread for people to talk about the messages they were all sent from Takashima. From looking at the thread, it seemed like almost everyone was getting the same messages, but there were occasionally some personalized ones. So there were two types of Takashima mail, communal and individual. For some reason, there weren't very many people posting the contents of their individual messages. That was probably because they talked about what kind of stuff that person had done to Takashima. The messages I retrieved with Mrs. Senagawa's phone and the common messages posted on the message board. With the two of these, I'd be able to figure out what kind of messages she was getting and whether they drove her to her death. Whoa, there are a ton of them! The two girls, Satoko and Akasaka Megu, said on the message board that they were getting messages every hour, but Mrs. Senagawa was getting them too. I see. There were way more of these messages than communal ones. The total number of messages from Takashima was 62. Even if she wasn't dead, getting that many messages from one person would be scary. I calmly read the 62 messages. The first email was to be expected. Yep, it's that same one. I'd read it, but it's the same thing again. The first of Takashima's messages. Huh? What's this? There was quite a gap between the first and second messages. The next one was 2 days after the first message. But still. Yep, that one. After the second one, they started coming every hour. They were all sent at fixed intervals. The contents are mostly the same. It hurts, repeated over and over. But look at all of these. The guy sending these must not have any hobbies, unless it's automated. Huh? I continued reading. Starting on the night of the 15th, there were more messages with actual content. From Takashima Zakuro. You definitely saw it, but you didn't do anything. You knew, but you pretended like you didn't. Of course, this was talking about the fact that Mrs. Senagawa knew about the bullying and didn't do anything to stop it. Takashima was blaming her for it even after her death. I see. That's pretty scary. Okay. You knew they were always bullying me on the roof of Building C. They borrowed the key from you, after all. Building C? That was the place Mrs. Senagawa jumped from, right? They threw my doll off the roof. Until I have that, I can't rest in peace. You knew about it, since you were the one who gave them the key. You had the key. You knew. I want my doll back. A black doll. My black doll. My doll says it's cold. It wants to go with me, so I want to find it before I go. Either I take the doll with me, or I take you. I don't have my black doll. I'll take you instead. Come with me. I want you to come with me, so I'm coming. I came to your room, but why aren't you here? When I touched the cute dolls in your room, all their heads came off. I have no body. My body is broken. I need the doll, or I need you. No body, no body. Broken body. I need you. Let's go together. Where are you? I need you. Let's go together. It hurts. It hurts, my body hurts. I failed, my arm is broken, my skull is split, it hurts, it hurts. I bleed when I move, I'm cold, I'm so cold. Where are you? I saw you in the hallway, I'm coming for you. I saw you in the hallway, I'm coming for you. I can see you, huddled on the floor in the staff room. Behind you, I got you. This last message. The time was 5:58 p.m., right around the time she fell. Or rather, the exact moment. This doesn't seem like a ghost. Looks like someone was leading Mrs. Senagawa on. Next, I looked at the messages she sent. Mrs. Senagawa had been sending replies back since she started receiving the messages. Is this a prank? Pretending to be Takashima is incredibly disrespectful. Who are you? These angry messages changed to fearful ones as more messages came from Takashima. She started apologizing, getting mad, and then apologizing again. There were a ton of them, but I still went through them one by one. That's wrong. I really didn't know. Akasaka and Kitami said they were going to use the roof to draw sketches for their club. I was just holding on to the key for the janitor. They said they were just doing sketches. I didn't know they were bullying you up there. I'm sorry, Takashima. A doll? Your doll was thrown away? If it was dropped off the roof, it might be in the lost and found. I'll go look tomorrow. I really didn't know. I'll look for your doll tomorrow. So Mrs. Senagawa was the one who gave them permission to use the rooftop for their club. I didn't think she would have lent it to them so they could bully someone. But still, this must have been really scary. No, don't come to my room, please. Please don't come here. I'll go find your doll right away. I looked, but it wasn't in the lost and found. But the janitor will be here in just a little bit. I'll ask him about it. Her sentences sounded like she was at her wit's end. Like she was so scared she couldn't even tell what was real. The last time I saw her, this is what she was feeling. Oh, it might still be around Building C. I'll go check to see if it got caught on one of the eaves. That was the last message Mrs. Senagawa sent. After that, she went to the janitor, borrowed the key, and then fell from the roof. Mrs. Senagawa was killed by Takashima's messages. Honestly, I probably shouldn't stick my nose in any further. Anyone could tell this was getting dangerous. This wasn't a game. This wasn't something a person like me should ever get involved with just for fun. If I just handed this phone over to the police, the culprit would be caught. If I did that, it would all end. Yeah, that's what I should do. If there was a culprit, it would all end there. If there was a culprit. But if these messages weren't being sent out by a human, if Takashima Sakura really was sending these messages. No way, it's stupid to even consider that. A dead person couldn't send a message like this. The person sending these messages has to be a living, breathing person. Ideally, I guess. Actually, the name listed in the sent from section was Takashima Sakura. Which means she had Takashima Sakura's mail address. I opened up her contact list. She didn't just have Takashima Sakura's email address, she also had her phone number. Her phone number? This went directly to Takashima's phone. Though, of course, no one was going to answer. I'm just curious. Huh? Why? Why is it coming from inside this room? Why is the sound coming from inside this room when I called Takashima's phone? I mean, couldn't they have just logged into her email from a different phone or a computer? And also, it's fucking snowing again. It's May! Come on! What the? I opened the desk drawer where the sound was coming from, and... No way. Oh god. The case was eerily cracked. It was covered in blood and hair was stuck to it. That was... Takashima Sakura's cell phone? Why is it in my room? Why? Full of apprehension, I checked the phone. The phone's email address read... No way. The email address was the same one that was sending out all of Takashima's messages. Wait, just calm down for a moment. I collapsed into the chair. What am I doing? When I sat down to try to relax, I knocked something off the desk. What's this? Crap, it was the aluminum powder from my detective kit. The case was empty. I probably knocked it over when I pulled out the desk drawer earlier. I just knocked the case to the ground, that's all. What am I doing? Cleaned up the detective kit that I knocked over. I knocked the fingerprints I'd collected out of the case as well. What's wrong with me? Huh? The moment I saw it, the blood drained from my face. What is this? A chill ran up my spine when I saw the fingerprints. These are... The aluminum powder I knocked over was showing the fingerprints all over the room. On the desk, on the drawer, on the closet. And those fingerprints... They're the same as the ones on Takashima's desk. Why? I felt a cold sweat. I tried to make sense of the situation. What could this mean? That was the first time I touched her desk, so those fingerprints couldn't have been mine. Which meant either Takashima Zakuro herself, or the second person who touched her desk came into my room and left his phone. A chill ran up my spine. Why? Her cell phone is in my room, along with the same fingerprints that were on her desk. Why? This is... Huh? Oh, howdy. What's this? An almost humanoid shape, like a black space, had been carved out of the air. It was coming toward me. Eek! Ah! Hello there, ghost man. Equals cross. Cool. Okay. Can I say it's theory time? Because I think it's theory time. Okay, so... It might just be... Okay. It might just be a red herring. But... If I were to dust my room for fingerprints, I would likely find fingerprints all over my room. Right? Doesn't that make sense? Because I live in my room. Well, I don't live in my... You know what I mean. It would be my room. I use the things in my room. Of course, my fingerprints would be on my mouse, my TV remote, my armrests, my keyboard, this pen that I'm holding. It just makes sense that it would be my fingerprints. So, why did Yuki find a weird set of fingerprints all over her room? Because it's hers. It's her fingerprints. So it might be like some, I don't know if I want to spoil anything from anything else that has existed in reality. But I'll just say I think it's one of those situations where the culprit is the protagonist. It could be. It doesn't have to be. But it's definitely something I should at least try and keep in mind. Because I have a pretty bad track record at guessing those plot twists before they happen. Of figuring out, oh, it's the protagonist who was doing it, and they were doing all the shit for it under our nose. Of course, you could try and refute that by saying things like, but Yuki clearly doesn't know what's going on, but it's like, that's not necessarily a rebuttal, because it could be any number of things. Like, at this point in the game, I can make any number of theories that could potentially explain anything that's going on, because I don't know what rules this game is operating on. Whether there's gonna be supernatural stuff involved or not. Or if there's going to be sci-fi stuff, like robots or monsters or teleportation, ray guns. I don't know why ray guns came to mind, but still. There could be mythological interception, and there's like angels and shit, even though I'm pretty sure that, at least on that front, there's probably like divine intervention somehow in this game. But with Yuki, like, okay, I'm going to spoil a short story that I've read before. It's called Strawberry Spring by Stephen King. It's about a college student, and there's a series of murders that happens on his campus, and it's revealed at the end of the story that the killer in these murders was the protagonist the whole time. However, over the course of the story, you would think that the protagonist is an alibi. But it's all just perceived. It's all just perceived. He doesn't know that he's committing the murders. That's even revealed at the end of the story. He's just like, I don't want to look in my trunk because I'm starting to doubt myself. His car trunk, naturally, because another murder happened years down the line. And it's all relating to the frickin' false spring that happens in, like, March, just those 3 days out of the year where it happens to be 60, 70 degrees in the middle of winter, you know? So, I feel like that's potentially what's going on with Yuki here. Possibly. As far as, like, anybody else, I don't really have any reason to think that Kagome or Tsukasa is filling anything other than a supporting role at this point in the story. I think saying that Takuji is the person sending out these messages might be too obvious, but that might be the point as well. I don't really have too much of a grasp on Hasaki or Kimika, but either of them could be involved to a certain extent as well, especially since Kimika seems to be an accomplice of Takuji, if I had to guess. And Hasaki is his little sister, so she could also be involved, but of course she doesn't have to be. The most confusing character is definitely Ayane. Ayane is the most confusing character anyways. I'm still pretty sure that she's not human, at the very least, which I mentioned last episode, I believe, because I got a comment mentioning how Zakuro did indeed refer to Ayane. But at the very least, we know that Zakuro also has some sort of, I don't want to say omniscience, but she's kind of sort of on a higher intellectual or perceptual plane than regular people are. So she could know things that other people don't. Like, Ayane could literally just be a specter or something that only shows herself to Yuki, and Zakuro knows about her because Zakuro just happens to know about her. Because I don't think anyone else has ever mentioned Ayane's existence. Because, like, if Kagome or Tsukasa has ever mentioned Ayane, then, yeah, that would make sense that Ayane is more than likely human, unless there's another existing human in this game with the same name. But it could be any number of things there. But so far I want to say, with everything that's going on, the characters I'm looking closest at are Yuki, Takuji, of course, and Kimika. As far as, like, Hasaki goes, I don't really know, dude. She, like, we talked to her for a little bit last episode, but that's kind of it. And Ayane, I don't know. She kind of feels, if I had to say, like, what role I think Ayane is supposed to fulfill in this game, she's kind of like the middle ground. Like, she's indifferent to everything that's going on around her. So, I'm not sure. But really all I wanted to bring up is that there is the possibility that Yuki could have, like, a alternate personality or something like that. Or she spaces out and is committing, not really committing, but is the one sending all these messages to people. And I don't want to limit myself to these 8 characters here, because there are other characters who exist in this game who aren't necessarily any less important than these 8. Because there is Kiyoshi and Yasuko, who I do think are probably just minor characters. They probably don't have a lot of plot relevance. They might later on, but I don't think they will. Kiyokawa, I don't think, I'm only really suspicious of her as far as being in league with Takuji. But aside from that, I don't think anything else is going on with her. Senagawa's dead, naturally. Zakuro's dead. The 2 girls that Zakuro was with are dead. But still, there's just a large lack of information that can basically make me suspect anybody for any reason. But, like, as far as, like, realistic options go, Yuki, Kimika, Takuji. And Takuji and Kimika might be a bit too obvious, so yeah. It could be some mind control shit or something, who knows, but that's what I think's going on. I think Yuki is doing something that even she's not aware of, so yeah. The sound of the chime. The sound of the bell. That's right, even at this kind of time, the school bell still rings. I just didn't know because I never showed up to school at this time of day. I don't really want to be in such a gloomy place. This place, where it seems like people keep dying. I'd fled from my house. At first, I wandered around the shopping district. But I ran here after getting hit on by drunks and delinquents. It looked like I was about to be rounded up by the police along with them. Even a place like this was better than that house. Yeah. Ah! That was a hallucination. There's no way something like that can happen. Right, it was just an illusion. Like the air had been carved out in the shape of a human. A creepy shadow. It was an illusion. I couldn't imagine it as anything else. It unhinged me a little, seeing the same fingerprints that were on Takashima's desk. And that's why I had that hallucination. I mean, seeing the fingerprints could have even been a hallucination too. And to jump back into theory time again a little bit. If it's not Yuki who got the phone and was sending out the messages and was the second set of fingerprints on Zakuro's desk, then that brings up the question of who got into her house. Because that would be a question of who knows where she lives. In which case that would be Kagome, Tsukasa, Takuji, because he showed up outside. And I want to say Kimika probably wouldn't, because Kimika didn't even know that Yuki was Yuki at first. So, yeah. So it would be Tsukasa, Kagome, or Takuji. So, yeah. And then another question that could potentially be brought up, if Yuki is the second set of fingerprints, then the slime in the desk is certainly an oddity, ain't it? Because, like, I'll just say what I thought it was. I thought it was Takuji having a bit of fun while no one was around, so to speak. So then, yeah, that would make Takuji the #1 suspect. But still. Then, like, when did he fucking do that? Because, like, it was still a blob of slime when Yuki found it, right? I don't think she ever described the color, because she just felt the back of the desk, right? And she just happened to notice, ew, there's something slimy back here, that's weird. But, like, I don't know much about female anatomy, but I don't think it's possible to, pew? Well, it probably is, but not with that much accuracy, so that it goes to the back of the desk. So, yeah. Unless they turned it on its side, I guess, and it just leaked? Why am I talking about this? Takuji. It's probably Takuji. Even if it wasn't real, even if it was a hallucination, there was no way I could remain calm after seeing that. In a way, that's what I wanted to believe. Because if it wasn't a hallucination, then it was a ghost. This is just words. I'll give you some of my... Oh, wait, that's Zakuro. I'll give you some of my power. Takashima said that right before she died. Just before she died, I was kissed by a dying person. That kiss? Why is all of this happening? Even her cell phone showed up in my room. Why were her possessions coming to me? Why was that in my room? The morning sun had risen. I just sat in front of the gate, since I was afraid to go into the school building. I wish I could nap a bit. I started walking shakily. Hello, Ayane. Can you give me any more hints as to whether or not you're human or not? Good morning, Minakami. Good morning? I mean, I guess it is morning, but why are you here so early, Ayane? Dunno. How could you not... Never mind. Did you run away too, Minakami? We've only ever seen her on the roof, too. Which is something to keep in mind. What? How do you... Because everyone ran away, just like that. What do you mean? Do you mean the people who went missing went through the same experience? Experience? I saw a black shadow. I think it was a hallucination, but I definitely saw a black shadow. My room was covered in the same fingerprints that were on Takashima's desk. And Takashima's cell phone was in my room. I see. Did everyone else experience that too? It's very simple. Your experiences are yours alone. That much is obvious. That's not what I'm saying! What's wrong? This isn't like you, Minakami. Weren't you supposed to have a stronger spirit than anyone? Weren't you supposed to be smarter than anyone else? What's that? I'm nothing like that. Really? But it was determined as such. What do you mean determined? You can't just determine something like that. And who would determine something like that anyway? That sounds like something God himself might do. Yeah? It was not determined by God. Then who? If God did not determine it, then humans did. That is all. Huh? I don't understand. You don't understand? That's just what you think right now. After all, every answer is right here. And you are in existence that can either find those answers or ignore them. What's that? The crawling chaos. It emerges from a dark place. It creeps in every time you turn off the lights. Everyone is incredibly scared. People light lamps because they are scared. The light illuminates the world, and thus they try to forget. But that is mistaken, for the stronger the light is, the brighter the lights of the world shine, the more vividly the shadow is cast. Light can't eliminate the darkness. Light is founded upon the temptation of the darkness. We try to eliminate it, because both its sightliness and unsightliness are as ambrosia to us. The crawling chaos emerges from a dark place. It emerges from the shadow in the belly of a cowering man, from the shadow of a clenched fist. The temptation is biding its time. The hidden temptation is always at your side. That which is hidden, that which tempts. You said something like that before. Yes, people try to uncover that which has been hidden. But that is not an attempt to hide it and run away, but rather an attempt to hoard that sweet treasure away from others. Just like Mamiya. Mamiya Takuji? Huh. You and Mamiya are two figures that stand on opposite sides of the same door. Huh, okay. Just like the goddess who stands in the doorway, governing the beginning of every action. Hello. A quiet voice. Translucent eyes. She seemed to know everything. She seemed to see everything. My skin broke out into goosebumps. But this time you will advance beyond that. And then you will stand at the end of the loop. Next time we meet, tell me what you see at the end. Yeah, she's not human. You can't fool me otherwise. Huh? Was I sweeping just now? She's not human. She does not exist. She's not real. Or she does exist. At the very least, she's not human. That's all. Guarantee. I'm locking in my theory on that. Ouch. My body hurts all over. Probably because I swept on the concrete like this. But why? Why am I in a place like this? Oh! I saw something like a black shadow. I don't know if that was a hallucination or what, but I couldn't stay there after seeing that. After wandering around the town, I arrived at this place. And here, something happened. It was... Oh, now you're here again. Okay. Good morning. I want to ask you something, Ayane. What? The last thing I remember is you saying something really important. The next time we meet, tell me what you saw at the end. Yeah, you're still not human, sorry. This would count as the next time, but I still haven't seen anything. I suppose so. What's that supposed to mean? Well, that's something to look forward to next time. But... She said that like it was a joke, but... What's going on? I had no memory after that, and yet now my head was really clear. The thought of that shadow passed through my mind, but even that didn't scare me. Even though it was so scary last night, it didn't seem scary anymore. Oh, for once you're not just on the roof. You're really trying to make a case for yourself as a human, aren't ya? The classroom. Yeah, I don't have any money since I ran straight here. I have a 500 yen coin hidden in my desk, though. Hidden? Yeah, it's jammed in here, between the metal and the top board. Sometimes I forget my money after all. It's one of those tricks you pick up in life. I see. Huh? What's wrong? That's weird. It's not there. The money is there, but why are there books in Tsukasa's desk? Oh? Okay. When I crouched down to get the coin out of my desk, I saw into the desk diagonally in front of mine, Tsukasa's. There were still textbooks left inside it. I took one out. This textbook is... That book was for a Thursday class, which was 2 days ago. Why are these still in her desk after 2 days? That's something that worried me too, but I didn't mention it about Tsukasa and Kagome. We haven't seen them in forever. And I was thinking about, like, Takaji's prophecy a bit. We're gonna go back into theory time. Go to the options screen. This is the theory time zone. I was thinking about Takaji's, prophecy while I was in the shower, because the shower is a good place to think about things. And it also results in me staying in there for way too long, but I don't care. That's not important right now. I already raised the question earlier about Senagawa and her death not fitting Takaji's prophecy. He said a lot of people would witness the death, and the dead would speak of the ultimate demise, or something along those lines. That does not fit Senagawa's death. At all. Not even a little bit. So I was thinking that there are 2 reasons why necessarily, actually 3 reasons why Senagawa's death doesn't fit the prophecy that Takaji proposed. 1. Senagawa's death was not something he was anticipating. It was something that he has to plan around. Something that just happened that he was not anticipating. She was somehow undermining his plan or something, and ended up needing to kill her. And so, bada bing bada boom, Senagawa dies, not fitting the prophecy. Possibility number 2... Fuck, what was possibility number 2? Possibility number 3, which is now possibility number 2, has to do with Takaji's perception of who is human. Because Takaji was going on and on and on about how frickin' the education system hides death from people. So he might think of teachers as inhuman or not real people. And so he doesn't consider Senagawa's death to be the death of a person. That's kind of semantics, I realize, but it still makes sense. So I was scared that because we hadn't seen Tsukasa or Kagome at all, that it's possible that one or both of them are dead, and that he's planning on somehow displaying one of their bodies or both of their bodies to fit his prophecy. And, I don't know, maybe using ventriloquy? Is that the word? Ventriloquy? Puppet stuff? In order to make it seem like they're speaking? Or something? I'm not sure. It could be any number of things. But I'm worried about the state that Kagome and Tsukasa could be in. Which is also part of why I think that they're not involved too much in, like, the truth of what's going on. So, yeah. Yeah. I'm worried about them, case in point. Why are they still in her desk after 2 days? Huh? I looked into Kagome's desk, too. It's the same. This is... Dun 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 dun! Why are you running all of a sudden? Sorry, there's something bothering me. I see. They're toast, aren't they? Actually, that night, 2 days ago, their house was dark and the curtains were closed. They're dead! And yesterday, too, which means... It really is just the same. The Wakatsuki sisters haven't been home. Motherfucker, I was right. I called the phone in their house. If they were home, they'd answer. No one's answering. Aren't their parents home? But no matter how you looked at it, they definitely hadn't been home. I couldn't think of anything else. Can't believe they've gone missing too. Was I stupid? How could I have gone 2 days without realizing that? What a dumbass! Blinded by fear, was I? There were plenty of hints. If I'd noticed, I could have put a stop to this before it had happened. I was afraid of something like this. I picked up Takashima's bloody phone. Why was I afraid of something like this? Something like this. Something... I hadn't noticed before because I was so scared. I'd overlooked it. I took out the detective kit and got the fingerprints off the cell phone. Those 2 sets of fingerprints are on this cell phone, too. I transferred them to the film and lined them up with the fingerprints I'd found on Takashima's desk. Bingo. Just like I thought. The 2 sets matched up perfectly. The fingerprints on her desk are the same as the ones on this phone. The first set is Takashima's, but whose are the others? I headed back to the school. Ayane, you're not human, I'm sorry. But you just can't convince me otherwise. Welcome home. I'm back. That was surprisingly fast. I found a new hint, so I couldn't just stand around. A hint? Yeah, there was 1 set of fingerprints in my room, but there were 2 sets of fingerprints on Takashima's desk. That's not a mystery in itself, but for some reason there are 5 sets on Takashima's phone. 5? Did you say that before? And I misread it? The fingerprints that we know are on the phone... Oh, wait. No, she said Takashima's phone. I thought... Okay. The fingerprints that we know are on the phone are mine, Tachibana's, Miss Kiyokawa's, and of course, Takashima herself. The last set is unknown. Oh, okay. So you are... Okay, so you are innocent. Got it. Good. Even if we assume Takashima's ghost or zombie or whatever came into my room and left her phone there, in that case, why is there only 1 set of fingerprints in my room, while there are a bunch of different ones on the phone? That's no good explanation. That must have been a typo. She's probably referring to Senagawa's phone. You can only call it unnatural, which means... I took a sample of the suspicious fingerprints from the desk. Who would pull a trick like that in my room? Of course, it could have been Mamiya Takuji, or one of his followers, Tachibana, or one of the people I saw on the message board. I got the fingerprints I was looking for. Oh look, it was the Savior himself. The Savior himself? Look. I showed her the 4 pieces of film. First, the one I took from Takashima's desk. Second, the one from my room. Third, the one from Takashima's phone. And finally, these fingerprints are from Mamiya Takuji's desk. No one but him has touched it, so they're the only fingerprints on the desk. I laid the 4-sheet down. The answer is simple. It wasn't Takashima Zakuro's ghost that went to my room, messed it up, and left the phone. It was Mamiya Takuji. I figured as much. Jeez, can't believe I got worked up about that. I'm such a dumbass. I got scared of something silly like this and couldn't look at it as anything other than an object of fear, even when there were so many hints lying around. It even made me see that hallucination. I'm an idiot. You returned to being the Minakami Yuki I know. Once you get rid of all the smoke and mirrors, it's almost comical how silly this whole thing is. I see. Which means this was all devised by Mamiya Takuji. All? It all matches up. I see. Though I still have to hear it from him to make sure. If Mamiya was behind it all, then the Wakatsuki sisters were abducted by him. Figured. Where could they be? It was all devised by Mamiya Takuji. Isn't that the simplest explanation? Mamiya became friends with the chaos. He made it dark so that the crawling chaos could come more easily. Dark? Yes, Nyarlathotep likes the dark. That's something you know very well. Something I know? You mean the place? Yes, Mamiya has always had a place. A dark place. Oh! Mamiya's place. The place where Mamiya suddenly appeared. There. That was next to the old pool. It's there! And she disappeared. Thank you, Ayane? She's not human. What the? Ayane was already gone. But that's not important. The pool! Oh, fuck. The old pool, huh? That's where he is. It was my blind spot. But if you thought about it, it wasn't impossible. Last year, our school had an indoor pool installed, so this one wasn't used anymore. So it hadn't been filled with water in over a year. I descended into the pool and found a manhole at my feet. This manhole? The scratches on the edges of the manhole cover were relatively new. If it hadn't been used in a year, the scratches would have rusted, but the ones on it seemed fresh. This is proof someone opened it recently. It must have been opened and shut again very recently. There were only a few possible reasons for that. The first thing that came to mind was the possibility that a workman opened it to check something, but sadly that didn't fit. There would be scratches just like these on the other sewer entrances, but there was nothing like that on the rest of them. There was no evidence that any of the other manhole covers had been touched. And that's not all. What was really unnatural was that rainwater was collecting in the pool, which meant the pool's drainage valve was closed. Huh. Thought it was a little strange that rainwater was collecting in the pool. If a workman had done something, that's the first thing he would have fixed. Someone has intentionally stopped the water from flowing down into the sewers. Why would someone do that? There was definitely a drainage tank below the pool. Apparently these tanks were actually large enough for someone to live in. I saw on TV that sometimes homeless people lived in empty gasoline tanks after the gas stations went bankrupt. If people could live in a gasoline tank, it wasn't improbable to think that someone might live in a drainage tank. It was so strange when Mamiya kept appearing here. Why didn't I notice something so simple? Well then, I checked to make sure I still had my nightstick to protect myself. With this, I can handle several attackers at once, as long as they're amateurs and the space is narrow. It was definitely narrow. You could even have called this guerrilla warfare, and this was a surprise attack. No problem. Oh boy. Took all my strength to lift the cover off the manhole. It smells like shit. The gaping manhole looked like the entrance to hell itself. This is probably Mamiya's hideout, and his followers were totally crazy. The smell probably wasn't poison or anything, but I wouldn't have put it past them to try to stab me. But I have to go. Started descending down into the manhole. I can't see anything, since my eyes aren't used to this. This is really scary. My breath had quickened. I had to calm down. If I couldn't see, the rest of my senses had to be as sharp as possible. If my breathing was too loud, it could stop me from hearing something vital. If I started sweating, my sense of touch could be dulled. I needed to calm down and hone my senses. The sound of water. This should be where the drain connects to the sewer. The sewers are a lot wider than I expected. My eyes slowly adjusted to the darkness. A little light filtered in from the open manhole. This is a really old style of sewer. It smelled really bad. Being here for very long would be nothing but torment. There's definitely a shape over there. It might just be the roof, though. Being here for very long would be nothing but torment. The drainage tank is... I looked around, searching for the path, but the only way forward seemed like the wrong way. There's no way the tank is in the direction where the water level rises. The drainage tank should be in the opposite direction, where the water level drops. But when I looked over there, I couldn't see anything but a dead end. Why? I started walking and gradually began to see a light. The light was from the manhole. Back where I started. What's going on? No matter how far I walked, I couldn't find a drainage tank. I'm tired. I sat down in that spot. I should have worn a shorter skirt. The hem is pretty disgusting now. I let out a loud sigh. What's that? It's like I can hear voices from inside. This is someone crying? Oh? It's coming from inside. I was so stupid. Why hadn't I noticed it? Once I thought about it, I realized there couldn't be a dead end in a sewer. It wasn't a dungeon. A sewer is a place where water is supposed to flow. A dead end would be a serious problem. It had to be. The spot has been blocked. I started looking around the spot I assumed to be a dead end. It was like a hatch with a large screw-shaped handle on it. Pressed my ear up against it. Okay. I thought it would actually say the character name there. Well, of course it wouldn't. It doesn't have it here. This is Tsukasa's voice, which means... I wonder how many people there are inside. What would happen if I suddenly rushed in? What if there are more than 10 people inside, and they all have guns? Oh, fuck. Those thoughts rushed through my mind, but the second I heard her voice, I dashed inside. No one's here. But more importantly, Tsukasa's not here. Where is she? I looked around the cramped drainage tank and... There's a manhole in the ceiling. Is this the entrance? This was different from the one I came in. There was a manhole on the ceiling of the drainage tank. That manhole was open. Was that the sound of someone crying? What's this? Oh Christ, that's a lot of rafters. What is this? A ridiculously huge space opened up before my eyes. The concrete columns seemed to stretch on forever. This isn't outside, though it is a pretty massive space. Oh, but this is the new school building, which means this is beneath the new pool's foundation. So it was built on top of the old pool's drainage tank. I see. Maybe they left it because they were considering using the old pool's tank for the new pool. But they didn't actually use it, so that's it. That voice! Tsukasa! No, I can actually hear crying now. Tsukasa didn't respond to my voice. It was like her voice was seeping out of the walls around me. Tsukasa, where are you? Tsukasa! It's the same voice clip over and over again. Just how massive is this place? This might not be connected to just the new building, but the old building as well. I walked through the darkness. I couldn't tell where her voice was coming from because of the echo. Tsukasa! Huh? I felt something unpleasantly slimy under my feet. I'd felt something like this before. Tsukasa! Huh? My mind couldn't take in the sight before my eyes. Oh no. I'd never seen something like that before. Even when Miss Senagawa died, it didn't cover that great an area. It was a lake of blood. Oh, great. The cold concrete was stained. The entire area was stained with red blood. And right in the middle of that red floor, therein laid Kagome's tragic form. I knew one of them would be dead. I knew it. And I called it. I'm not happy, but I did call it. What? Sister? Sister? What is this? This has to be a joke. This can't. Every time I took a step, the sticky blood made a disgusting sound. All of this came out of Kagome. All of this was once inside Kagome. And now it's been scattered throughout the room like this. Hey, Kagome! Put my hand on Kagome's face. It was so cold and hard that it didn't even seem human. Didn't seem like a human's face. This has to be a lie. This can't be. Hey, Kagome! There was no light in her eyes. The whites and pupils of her eyes were both clouded over. No light could possibly be reflected from those eyes. It's a lie! A lie! A lie! A lie! A lie! Several times! I can't make that sound convincing. Or that, probably. That can't be true. I'll just say it once. That can't be. Her arms and legs had been cut off like a Daruma doll. Oh, Christ. The places where they had been severed were still jagged, like someone had stabbed and slashed at it with a knife until they could forcibly tear it off. I'm sorry. If I noticed sooner. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It hurt, didn't it? It hurt, right? I'm sorry, Kagome. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It hurt, didn't it? It hurt, didn't it? Did it hurt? Kagome. 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 Everyone said she was a demon. They said you have to cut a demon to pieces. Sister wanted to go home. She asked to go home so many times. It hurt so bad when they cut off her arms, but all the way till the end, she kept saying she wanted to go home. She wanted to go home. Sister. That's right. Kagome, let's go home. I'm sorry, what are you doing? I picked up Kagome. Was she always so light? I'd assume not. Felt like I was holding a doll. Her body felt that light. Yuki, let's go home. Back then, I carried you home on my back like this, didn't I? Huh? That time, you tried too hard and sprained your ankle running. It came right away when I heard about it from Tsukasa. And then this is what you said. Wait, what? Huh? Now I'm incredibly confused. Is she dead or not? You're Your back is so soft. Of course, I'm a girl after all. Take a shot, guys. Yeah, that's right. You're a girl. Your back was always soft. Back then, too. Back then? Yeah, when John died, too. Who's John? John? Oh, your dog. Oh. Oh? Yeah. I remember you saying you were going to go out and look for a spirit. Yeah, I thought I could bring him back to life if I found where his spirit had run off to. How would you do that? Where were you going to go looking anyway? I don't know. It's just, there was a big hill we could never get past. I thought John's spirit might have been there waiting for us if we made it. A big hill? Yeah, the big hill on the way to school. Was it really that big? Not now it isn't, but back then it was. When I was a child, it seemed so big. I thought it was the wall at the end of the world. I thought if I could just get to the top of that hill, it'd be the limit of the world. But I was wrong. When I got to the top, there was more of the city, just like here. There was a hill after that, and another one after that too. The city continued on forever. That was when I realized the world had no end. Wasn't that when you started crying? Yeah. Because that's when I knew John's spirit wasn't coming back. So I got sad. And then you came, Yuki. That's how it always was. You always came for me when I was crying. Because I'm always crying. Because I can't do anything. So I wanted to become stronger. I tried to be stronger. I know you did, but maybe you tried too hard. I'm no good, huh? That's not true. I'm still amazed at how hard you tried. I can't do something like that. I always thought that your back was nice and hard. Big and strong. Huh? What do you mean? Like a father. No, even bigger. It was so big and strong that it seemed to envelop and protect me. So I was surprised when your back was so soft. Oh, right. You still didn't know I was a... Oh, wrong character. Oh, right. You still didn't know I was a girl at that point. Yeah, but really, I was relieved. Relieved? Yeah. My favorite person's back was soft and small, and that was the back I loved. Well, of course a girl's back is going to be softer than a boy's. Yeah, so I thought it was good that you were a girl. What's good about it? Not like I could change it. Tell me, that's not what I'm saying. But then I'd never be able to get married. Could you love me just a little? What do you mean? Oh no. You're so stupid. Stupid, stupid, stupid! Shut up and walk! What is it this time? Jeez. Kagome, sorry. In the end, my small back wasn't able to protect you. Kagome. Kagome, we're home. Your parents are probably going to be really sad when they see what's happened to you. Oh, that wasn't real. Got it. Okay. But you said you wanted to go home, right? Kagome? Tsukasa rang the doorbell since my hands were full. I heard footsteps in the house. Yes? Silence. The woman opened the door with a cheerful voice, but that voice quickly disappeared and only silence remained, since what I was holding was Kagome. Excuse me? Please forgive me. I couldn't protect Kagome. I let them do this to her. I'm so sorry. Huh? Yes? Excuse me? Please forgive me. I couldn't protect Kagome. I let them do this to her. I'm so sorry. Who are you? Huh? Is something wrong with your doll? Huh? What? Huh? What's happening? What are you talking about? No, that's not it. This was Kagome just a second ago. Wakatsuki Kagome. Is that the doll's name? No, that's not it. Kagome lives here, right? She's your daughter. It's getting pretty late. If you don't mind, I'd really rather not keep talking like this. But Mrs. Wakatsuki! We're the Hasegawa family, not Wakatsuki. Huh? If you don't leave, I'm going to have to call the police. What's this? What's happening? I don't... Tsukasa! Turn back toward Tsukasa. But she's not there either, is she? Nope, not at all. Huh? This... what? It looked like the place where Tsukasa had been standing had been chiseled out. It was dyed pure black. A shadow. A crawling figure that couldn't hold a human shape. That's... Okay, let's sound this out. Never mind. Eek! It yelled something. It definitely yelled something in an inhuman voice. I made a sound that wasn't a sound. I definitely heard it raise its voice in an unholy scream. Well, that was, fucked. Simply put. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. What the hell? So Kagome died, and then she turned into a doll, and Tsukasa doesn't exist. I see. I see. I don't see. I don't get it. What the fuck is happening? Wow. Yeah, that's a lot to think about, ain't it? At least I'm pretty sure I'm right that... at least... Okay, I was right that either Kagome or Tsukasa would be dead. And I was right that, Ayane's not human. Granted, they didn't outright say that, but I'm pretty sure she's not. So, yeah. Wowie. Okay, well, I think I'm just gonna end the episode here, because that's a lot to think about. A lot to think about. So, yeah, that's gonna be it for this episode, guys. If you liked it, then be sure to press the like button. And if you didn't like it, then fuck you too. Remember to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all my videos and stuff. And as always, my name is Godzi, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.